You step through the heavy glass doors of a crowded room, and a massive wall of noise instantly hits you like a physical blow. You hear dozens of different, overlapping conversations echoing all at once. You feel strangers constantly brushing past your shoulders. You see the flashing lights, the frantic movement, and the tight, suffocating spaces. Your chest instantly tightens, and your breathing becomes incredibly shallow. You suddenly feel an overwhelming, desperate urge to turn around and go straight back to the quiet safety of your home. Society usually has a very quick, very harsh judgment for you at this exact moment. They tell you that you are just being antisocial. They say you are too shy, too sensitive, or just painfully awkward. They make you feel like your deep discomfort is a personal failure. You might even start to secretly wonder if there is something fundamentally wrong with your brain. But what if your intense hatred of crowds has absolutely nothing to do with social anxiety? Today, we are going to explore the deeply fascinating psychology behind why some people absolutely despise crowded places. You are about to discover the hidden biological reason why loud rooms completely exhaust your energy. By the end of this video, you will understand why your desire to escape is not a weakness, but an incredible, hidden superpower. Let's look at what is actually happening inside your physical brain when you walk into a packed room. In the late 1990s, clinical psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron made a massive scientific breakthrough. She discovered a distinct, biologically based trait called sensory processing sensitivity. When a highly extroverted person walks into a crowded party, their brain does something very convenient. It automatically filters out the loud background noise. It effortlessly blurs the faces of strangers and dulls the chaotic music. Their brain thrives on fast hits of dopamine from the unpredictable chaos of a crowded room. But if you have sensory processing sensitivity, your brain is wired completely differently. You do not possess that automatic, numbing filter. Your nervous system is highly porous. You process every single detail in that room in stunning high definition. You hear the clinking glasses in the far corner. You absorb the heavy emotional energy of every stranger in your personal space. Brain scans actually show that highly sensitive people have much more active regions related to deep cognitive processing. You run on a deeper chemical pathway that rewards quiet reflection. Your brain is simply a high-powered satellite dish, constantly pulling in massive amounts of sensory data. No wonder you feel physically exhausted after just 10 minutes of making small talk. Your brain is doing 100 times more work than the person standing right next to you. But why would human biology create a brain that gets so easily overwhelmed by the world? For a very long time, people thought being highly sensitive was a genetic defect. It turns out it is actually a brilliant, highly evolved survival strategy. We have to go back thousands of years to truly understand your magnificent biological design. Ancient human tribes desperately needed loud, aggressive extroverts to lead the hunt. But a tribe entirely made up of impulsive people would not survive for very long. They desperately needed the quiet, careful observer. Imagine a busy, primitive village. The extroverts are loudly building shelters, completely focused on the physical tasks in front of them. But you, the highly sensitive watcher, are sitting quietly at the perimeter. You are scanning the horizon, calculating changing weather patterns, and anticipating hidden dangers. That quiet person noticed the subtle, dangerous shift in the wind. They heard the faint rustle of a predator hiding in the bushes, while everyone else was distracted by the loud campfire. Your deep, internal processing was the protective shield for your entire community. Your intense sensitivity is exactly what kept our ancient ancestors alive. Your brain is not a mistake. It is an absolute evolutionary masterpiece. But living with an ancient, highly tuned radar system in a modern, noisy world is exhausting. When you are trapped in an unpredictable crowd, your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, goes into massive overdrive. It perceives the erratic movement of hundreds of strangers as a potential physical threat. Your body silently starts pumping out heavy stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. You are literally running a painful biological marathon just by standing in a packed grocery store. But you do not have to force yourself to love crowds, and you do not have to hide in a cave forever. You can use a few highly practical psychological strategies to fiercely protect your precious energy. First, you are allowed to build strategic physical buffer zones. When you absolutely must go to a crowded event, do not walk right into the dead center of the room. The center is where the sensory overload is the most intense. Instead, comfortably anchor yourself at the quiet edges. Find a solid wall, a quiet corner, or a safe spot near an open exit. This simple physical positioning instantly lowers your brain's threat response. It gives you a secure vantage point to quietly observe the room without being swallowed alive by the chaos. Second, you can practice the profound art of the intentional escape. Society pressures us to stay at the party until the very bitter end. We feel terribly guilty for leaving early, but you are entirely capable of setting your own strict time limits. You can easily decide beforehand that you will stay for exactly 45 minutes and not a single second longer. When your internal battery starts flashing red, you do not need to over-explain yourself. You are allowed to just quietly slip out the door. You are simply respecting your own biological limits. Third, you can use the psychological trick of a sensory anchor. When the overlapping noise starts to make your chest tight, you can easily pull your brain back to safety. Simply focus all of your attention on one grounding physical sensation. You can focus on the cold condensation of the glass in your hand. You can focus on the heavy texture of your jacket, or the feeling of your feet firmly planted on the floor. This simple act redirects your brain's processing power. It gives your overwhelmed nervous system one single predictable data point to focus on, instantly calming the panic. Finally, you can learn to ruthlessly prioritize your silent recovery. After you survive a crowded, chaotic environment, your sensitive nervous system is deeply inflamed. You cannot just jump directly into another high-energy, demanding task. You need absolute, unbroken silence to reset your chemical baseline. You can sit quietly in a dark, empty room. You can go for a long, solitary walk in nature, far away from the noise of the city. You can give your high-powered brain the gentle, quiet space it desperately needs to completely cool down. When you stop fighting your own magnificent biology, something incredibly beautiful happens. You stop feeling guilty for preferring a quiet night at home over a loud, chaotic concert. You realize that hating crowded spaces does not mean you secretly hate people. You actually crave deep, highly meaningful, one-on-one human connections. You just prefer to connect in calm, peaceful environments where your nervous system feels completely safe and relaxed. You are a deep, thoughtful observer in a very loud, highly superficial world. You can finally drop the heavy, exhausting expectation to be exactly like everyone else. You are allowed to fiercely protect your peace without ever feeling broken. You can confidently walk away from the overwhelming noise of the room. You can stand beautifully apart from the crowd, fully knowing that your quiet mind is your absolute greatest strength.